Hi, I'm Rebecca Barton, and this is my case study presentation. So the first thing is just a little summary. So Miss Tate is a new teacher in the district. She's a little bit older than most first-year teachers just because she went and got her master's, and then she had another year of postgraduate courses before she even applied for this job that she got. Her approach to teaching causes her room to be a high-stress room, resulting in the principal receiving many different complaints. Miss Tate receives an email that takes Miss Tate to a link where she has to log in. On this site, she sees many different comments about her, with the last one being a death threat. So, category one, what we know. So, we know about Dr. Harvey Smith. He's the principal of the school for 9 years. He's recognized as Principal of the Year 2 years ago. He's an established principal, highly respected by parents, focused on maintaining reputation as principal of most prestigious school in the state, and he really makes himself known for only hiring the most qualified teachers. The high school is in an area where the families have secure financial means. Most parents are doctors, lawyers, or even partners in investment firms, and the students have the latest fashion in clothes and the newest technology. Miss Tate is a new teacher. She is not married, and she takes a very serious approach to her instruction. Dr. Smith has been giving her many different suggestions, and she has ignored them. He's given her techniques to reduce the stress in her classroom, and he's encouraged her and showed her how to increase positive interactions with the students, both of which she has not listened to. Miss Tate was sent an email from an unknown sender where she ended up following the link, which linked it to a Facebook page. On the Facebook page, there was many negative comments toward Miss Tate, and the last one was a death threat. She goes and tells Dr. Smith, who kind of thinks that it's a prank and doesn't seem to think it's super serious until she shows him the Facebook page with the threat. And Miss Tate is super fast to jump to conclusions and names a student who she thinks might have done it. What we need to know. So one of the first things we need to know is why this was not reported to the police. Emails and internet now with technology can be tracked, so it's super easy to figure out where it was sent from, like the IP address and all of that. And threats are illegal and should be taken seriously no matter what. We also should know how many students Miss Tate had. Was she um, did she have like 50 different students? Did she have 20 different students? And that goes along the same lines of like how many classes she taught since she was teaching at a high school. Did something happen in her room before she left for break and the students left for break? Because they were on a long weekend. So was there an incident in Miss Tate's class that happened that would cause a student to write this death threat? We need to know what happened. We need to know who sent the email. We need to know why she's not being written up for not following Dr. Smith's suggestions. He's given her more advice, and she has refused to follow those directions and suggestions. We need to know what suggestions he made to her about her classroom. Is she provided a mentor since she is a new teacher? And is she taking professional development classes? Or is that something that Dr. Smith has suggested to her that she should take? Is Dr. Smith making regular observations in Miss Tate's class? He should be checking up on her since she's a new teacher and making sure that she's doing what she needs to be doing. Was this email truly a prank or was it really a threat? And then we need to know what the motive was behind it. Identifying the problem. So there was a threat that was made to Miss Tate. Then Miss Tate decided that she was going to blame a student without adequate evidence. She's ignoring all the help and advice that she's getting from Dr. Smith. She has extremely high expectations for students. And then some students have even been making snide comments to Miss Tate in her class. Part of the other problem is parents have super high expectations for their students, so they don't want them to fail. And they've complained more than one time about Miss Tate's class because they're kind of worried that the students are going to fail. And then no police report was filed. Dr. Smith wants to handle the situation on his own. The plan of action with appropriate strategies. So step one, we need to contact necessary parties, whether that's the superintendent, we need to notify other staff members in the building about what's going on. Step two, a police report needs to be filed because threats should not be taken lightly ever. Um, it's important that other students understand threats will not be dismissed. Technology can be tracked, so getting the police involved should hopefully help the email get tracked. And you have to follow proper policies and guidelines when dealing with threats. There has to be some kind of policy that's already in place that shows how to deal with this. Step three, meet with the students. You need to meet with the students that are in Miss Tate's class, including William, the one that she accused. It's important that we don't accuse the students and that we are listening to them because they might know of something that happened before the weekend happened or incidents that have been going on. It's important to discuss concerns with them and if they've noticed anything going on or if they know anything about the situation. Step four, we need to meet with Ms. Tate. It's important that we're discussing concerns with her about her classroom management and how she's running her classroom. It's a suggestion that she takes classroom management classes, almost might be a requirement considering how things are going in her room. We need to understand why she is not listening to suggestions. There has to be a reason that she is choosing not to listen to an administrator and what he is assigning to her. We should assign her a mentor teacher because it's kind of looks like she probably doesn't have one, and observe her classroom more often to know more about what's going in there. Step five, evaluate the technology policies and implement a new one if necessary so we can do what we need to do so this does not happen again. Step six, review technology policy with the students and the staff in the building. We need to make them aware of the technology policy, and we also need to let them know if we're changing it or adding things to the policy. Step seven, we need to notify the parents of the incident and let them know what's happened and what we are doing to handle the situation. Strategies for implementing the plan of action, communicating with staff and parents about the incident that occurred. That is so important that we are communicating. We need to review the technology policy and implement a new one if applicable. Mandatory classes and training for Ms. Tate on classroom management and building positive relationships with students. And ensure that the staff and students are safe. That is super important. Promoting the academic success and well-being of every student. So promoting the academic success and well-being of every student should be the top priority no matter what. My plan of action does this by mandating that Ms. Tate take classes to help improve her classroom management and student relationships, contacting all the appropriate people to notify them on the incident. So contacting the superintendent, the parents, the students, the staff, reviewing the technology policy, and then implementing a new one if that's absolutely necessary, or making changes to the one that's already in place. Continuing to make sure the environment is safe and secure for everyone, students, parents, staff, anyone that walks in that building that needs to be safe. And then doing what needs to be done to protect Miss Tate and ensure that she is safe. Problem debrief. So thinking, feeling, and valuing. So what was I thinking? What was the motive behind the threat to Miss Tate? Was everything done to ensure that the staff, Ms. Tate, and students are safe? Why was there not a police report filed? It seems like the principal was more worried about his reputation than following through and filing a police report. Was this truly a threat or just a prank? Ensuring that Ms. Tate knows she has support from administration. It's important that she knows she's supported and that when things like this happen, we're going to take care of them and fix them and then help her feel safe. I was thinking I need to understand and support Miss Tate and let her know that I support her and I know how she feels. It's important not to blame William. Since Miss Tate went ahead and blamed him, it's important that when I just talk to him, I don't blame him. And I was also thinking, what are the parents thinking? Are they worried about the reputation of the school or the principal's reputation now that this has happened? I was feeling frustrated that Miss Tate did not listen to advice. Um, was there a way that this could have been avoided so that she did listen to advice? I'm feeling positive that the case will get fixed. Technology cases seem to kind of be easy to work around with the way that you can figure out where technology, who was on it, and all of that stuff. I'm definitely worried for Miss Tate's safety, and I'm also worried about the safety of the students and my staff. And I was also feeling thankful for the technology policies that are in place, that they were there and that there was some way that they were doing what they needed to do to protect students and staff. Although with this incident happening, it's apparent that there needs to be adjustments to them. I value the safety for my students and staff. I valued all parties' opinions and values and made sure that I listened to them and didn't just discriminate. I valued the policies that we had in place for technology. I valued support staff helping solve the case, so like police officers, administrative people, technology people figuring it out. And I valued Miss Tate and what she must be feeling through all of this. Some unresolved issues: why the threat was sent, who exactly sent it, why it was never turned into the police, and how Miss Tate is with her students in the classroom. It's been said that her classroom is super stressful, but I don't think that anyone's ever been in there to watch it to know truly what's happening in there. Reflection. So I, as the educational leader at the building level, applied knowledge that promoted the success of every student by acting with integrity, by doing what needed to be done to protect Miss Tate, ensure that she was feeling safe while at school and at home, taking the case seriously and acting upon the case quickly and efficiently, not accusing William when talking to him, asking what he knows and if he has any information about the email, and then making sure all staff and parents knew what was going on and the steps we were taking to solve the issue. I, as the educational leader at the building level, applied knowledge that promoted the success of every student by acting with fairness, by not blaming anyone but rather asking what the students know, following through on consequences for the students that sent the email and made the threatening comments, following all state and federal policies regarding these issues involving technology, and discussing it with parents and that different stuff. And then I, as the educational leader at the building level, applied knowledge that promoted the success of every student by acting in an ethical manner, by taking the threat seriously and investigating it as soon as I was made aware of it, listening to all involved parties, making sure that I wasn't playing favorites, and that I was presenting all evidence and facts, not withholding stuff that was going to make me look bad, but making sure that I put everything out on the table. By following all state and federal policies, by following confidentiality and our technology policy, also by notifying appropriate persons to help solve the case, like the police and the superintendent.